just to pass the armor threshold means that you're stuck in place and you can just rinse and repeat, back air after back air. But we are going to see, again, if you're playing at this top level, these are two matchups that you are going to know like the back of your hand, and let's see what both of these players can do in this moment.
Yeah, I always think of Yoshi as like, he's another one of those characters that tries to flex his air game as his ground game. Because things like down tilt aren't great. Like jab's pretty good, but otherwise, like, you're always trying to condition your opponent to meet you in the air, so that way you can F-tilt or up-tilt them in order to really get the launching started. But Joker's Hurtbox can kind of throw that for a loop, and it'll be interesting to see how Pharaoh tries to work around a player as flexible as Omega, who manipulates not only just his Hurtbox with different short hop movement, but also with all of the gun movement that we haven't seen quite yet, but is certainly in Omega's repertoire.
He nearly got the up tilt into up air there, not quite managing Omega, just air dodging out of the situation, but surviving through the onslaught, and there we go, gonna get it the second time. It's a really weird, it's a really not quite tricky combo to get, because there's obviously just only the two moves, but you've got to get that late hit of the up tilt to be able to really make the most of the window of opportunity. And here we go. Full hop, love that parry.
He went for that earlier as well, but Omega jumped away instead of trying to press. But that time on the platform, Omega pressed and got blown up for it. Hello!
Ooh, hello! What a lovely little moment there, just going for the jab and then that weak neutral air as well. There is that little mix-up that you have got where if you do press it anticipating a strong nair and it's the weakness, you get sent a little bit sooner, you can end up in that lockout window where you can't tech. It's a really spicy little mix-up, but Omega down as an up air, tried and true. Gonna take that stock fairly early in the grand scheme of things, but Pharaoh deciding I'm staying on the platform. I'm making the most of the invincibility, and I have, and I'm gonna watch that meter get lower and lower.
It's a double-edged sword, though, because when you come off of the Angel platform, the longer you spend on it, the less invincibility you have in the actual game itself. Is it worth it against Arsene? Absolutely, but you got to make sure to make your play right after coming off the Angel platform.
Seeing at the moment Omega getting that reversal dash attack, and the armor of Yoshi, of course, that heavy armor really going to do a good job trying to get the tech in with the forward smash, end the game in style. However, Omega not quite going to give it to him just yet. Footstool gun, let's see what we got. And again, trying to get the jump away, that back air sending nowhere, and Omega managing to take advantage of it.
Oh, a nice little cancel on the jump with the down beat in order to get to ledge, get the ledge snap pretty easily. The drag down, but doesn't work on Yoshi. Just without Arsene, the up smash hitbox is a little too vertical for how squishy this dinosaur can be. 139 to 140 with the tick up of the EHA damage, but Yoshi's a heavy character. Gonna take a full Arsene back to close it off, or a forward air, shutting down the jump out of shield. Pharaoh waiting on the Angel platform yet again, trying to find any way to shut down Omega's Arsene usage in order to regain some composure and regain some control, but Omega's the one that's holding steady in center stage and with just perfect flexibility, and they're throwing out options.
I was going to say, Pharaoh really doing a good job of just just retreating underneath these side platforms, getting my words mixed up here, just knowing that it does thwart the slightly limited options of the approaches here, and it just means that even in these situations where like Omega's still getting some damage, clutch air dodge, it means that Pharaoh isn't dying to the Arsene and has managed to get through, and now you got to be honest with it.
These forward air 1 conversions just aren't finding it. Omega might have to go for no drag down, just like forward air 1 up strong, if not just a straight hit or a straight back air at these percentages. 142, barely whiffing that back air. Oh, Pharaoh hunting for the late up tilt that he's been looking for. The forward air 1 direct conversion, the drag down into the forward smash, and Omega a 3 stocks to 1 comeback to steal game 1.
I think that's one of the tricky parts for Yoshi in this matchup, right, is that all of Yoshi's strongest options are in the air, and even if you're playing that short hop game just to try and get those aerials, trying to get those straight hits, it does mean that you are in prime position to get hit by that forward air 1 into those conversions. Again, like you were saying earlier on, Yoshi's grounded game not quite the strongest, one of the weaker of the cast. Got a couple of okay options here and there, but it is going to be those aerials that are the name of the game, and it has been Omega clutching out that game 1 in the grand scheme of things. We've got a falling up air, but nothing quite there just yet. But the Arsene Rebels Guard is nearly here, and that blue man is looming.
He's joining the fray as Pharaoh once again goes back to the game plan that he was trying to lean in on in the end of game number 1, which was always playing the dash back call-out game. But previously, ooh, never mind, that back air is going to do it. Pharaoh giving up some space and getting caught by Arsene's bear. Needs one more hit in order to close out the stock here, hunting for it with a couple eggs, putting out an air, not going to get a second one, and this is Yoshi without a jump. Justin getting to the ledge in the nick of time.
I was going to say, dying at 70% as well in this situation against this character is really not what you want to see. Clutch, parry into the spot, not getting the option there. It's one of those things where it does feel like every now and again, not necessarily a matchup check. However, Pharaoh just with the down smash, calling out that retreat from Omega and keeping himself fairly even in this game too.
Yeah, Pharaoh had gone for a lot of grabs in game 1, just seemingly kind of abandoned that in game number 2, focusing a lot more on just run in shield, see if you can consume space, but this is again no jump. Omega is finding a lot of ways to catch Yoshi out of this double jump, and Pharaoh falling victim to plenty of the undershoots that Omega has been going for. Oh, but that Rebel's Guard punish is huge, triple up air, and the percent is basically even. Oh, goodbye. Oh, not goodbye.
Clutch air dodge down the neutral air. Going to be able to get that out shield punish. Tried and true as Yoshi trying to get the tech chase there with the down tilt. I love that attempt in the reverse neutral air as well. An interesting forward smash. I'm not quite sure what the vision was there. Pharaoh would know better than me. The forward tilt not quite working, and it is these kinds of percents that you're wanting to live to as Yoshi. You are a very heavy boy, and with a bit of rage and that clutch instant double jump, going to be able to get that up air and a very, very fragile lead. Oh my goodness, what a call out.
Had the up smash too, but just didn't believe in it. The down air not going to work out either. Yoshi, as you mentioned, heavy character, a lot of airspeed. He's hard to land hits on, let alone definitive ones, with the quick slingshot forward air 1 to close down the first stock, getting the up air afterward, bring us to an even end of this game number 2. One that Omega was able to really snowball at the end of game 1, but the lack of grabs and the lack of overcommitment from Pharaoh, he's very much focused on, instead of trying to make these dash back callouts, what if he just played well within himself and then layered on top of that first? And so another grab comes down, another grab comes in, and that was DI in too.
I was going to say Omega just air dodging Pharaoh, not quite being ready for the punish in that situation. Up B, not quite going to land, allowing Pharaoh to get back onto the stage, just playing around this right-hand side, and both of these players giving up a lot of air dodges. Haven't seen quite a full commitment into punishing them just yet, but again, a much slower pace. Like we said, those short hops going to get punished by that fair one. However, Yoshi, he's a heavy boy, not quite going to die just yet.
Yeah, that forward smash is wrong. Another... He's giving... Oh my god!
Utter shenanigans. So much of a scramble situation for both these players. Pharaoh.
Spaghetti was all over the floor. It was on the table. It was like, oh, someone pick up the fork. And luckily for Pharaoh, he finds the up tilt, and at that point, it was just pure muscle memory to execute that combo.
Yeah, breathing. We will see it straight on back to Stadium 2, and there we go, getting the conversions. However, just being a little bit too late on the mark, allowing that Rebel's Guard, and a forward smash potentially would have killed in that situation. It is a very strong move, however, not quite. You know, it's got a lot of lag on it, and it's a little bit slower in the grand scheme of things. So Omega managing to get back on. We're just seeing a much more defensive style here, daring through the Aegon, which is, you know, a bit silly, but hey, you know what? It's Ultimate. That's what we do.
Active hitboxes, you know. It does follow the rules of the game, even though it just looks weird. I love how Pharaoh played that entire Arsene situation, though. The entirety was spent utilizing Yoshi's insane air mobility and the wide space that PS2 offers to say, like, yeah, I'm just not even gonna bother with this. And now that Joker's back to base Joker, you're much more willing to get up close and personal.
Lovely calling that retreat away with the up smash as well, and using the egg roll. One of the very, very niche uses is sort of using the trickier elements of the movement just to get away from that ledge invincibility. Some people with egg roll, they just try to avoid it if they can, because it's a weird move to try and punish. I mean, at this level, it is going to be punishable, but certainly, you got very, very niche uses. And again, we're seeing that down B, right? There is a deceptively large, like, hitbox that will grab the ledge. It almost looks like Yoshi should SD in a couple of those situations, but he is able to grab it. And again, Pharaoh, very much a student of the game, has labbed an awful lot with this character. Every time I see some kind of strange new tech or strange new weirdness with Yoshi, it is normally Pharaoh's tag that I am seeing on the Twitter thread. But of course, Omega very much still showing a strong game plan at the moment, that slower pace, these neutral Bs as well. Omega is recognizing the fact that even though he's like, oh, hang on, got a cheeky little infinite. Do we know the percent kills?
Oh, solid. Changing up the SDI twice over in order to get to the both sides of the platform, both sides of Joker's up air to really mess him up, and then find the back air forward smash to regain the lead. You're talking about both these players honestly being students of the game. It's both of them that I really see experiment with the more niche usage of both characters, whether it be between that up air infinite that we saw, the footstool gun movement, especially from Omega, and Pharaoh, shield breaks with egg roll, back air forward smash.
We saw it right there.
Case in point, he is looking for every trick and trap that Yoshi has to offer, and then some.
It's a really interesting thing with the back air forward smash as well, because it's a really specific range, because eventually the back air 2 will start to get to the point where it's forcing you into the tech chase situation.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to shield it anyway, you may end up sort of teching in place, and then the forward smash isn't going to hit. You've got enough time to get your shield up. So there's a really specific percent where actually it's going to work. We're seeing that shield break setup again and again. Pharaoh got every single trick and trap in the book, but it feels like Omega, he's definitely done his homework.
Yeah, we're seeing a couple missed footstools out of shield, though, from Omega that could be certainly a ton of options, but he's flicking back between offense and defense, recognition, and how he should play off of it time and time again. And I mean, the shift in playstyle here, that was intentional, that was crazy. Like, the shift in playstyle from Omega is just always like on a dime and as fast as needed. Oh, shifting into down air, though, does a ton of damage, looks for the up tilt. Yoshi having a little bit of sense of inevitability with a massive anti-air hitbox like that, as we're hunting for the finish, but not able to find the combo.
Yeah, the full DI away and get caught with the up smash, and the slight pop-up in the player cam from Omega, knowing in that situation it was starting to get that little bit dicey. Pharaoh nearly getting the up tilt to up air, but that full DI away means that it isn't going to connect at that point, getting the air dodge out and then just sealing the deal. Omega 2-1 up in the set so far. Pharaoh definitely sort of taking it right to the limit here, but we're going to need to see just that teeny bit more if he wants to cross the finish line on one side.
Yeah, Pharaoh a little bit too insistent, a little too linear at his intentions. Meanwhile, Omega always finds ways to disguise what he's trying to do. Whenever you think he's going to start whiff punishing with dash attack, that's when he's doing a lot of gun movement. As soon as he's starting to jump away and do nothing, that's when the footstools out of shield come down. It's always just disguising his exact intention and knowing when and where he should be pressing or should be evading. And Yoshi's certainly a character who you're going to spend a lot of time in the evasive game mode because of how big and powerful those hitboxes are.
You see Omega with Arsene, the double jump has been used, trying to get anything started. These directional air dodge, really utilizing the mobility that Yoshi has. However, Omega still one step ahead, getting that conversion into the up air to seal that stock. And a lot of Arsene still ready and available.
Oh, reads the roll, but was just a little too early. And Pharaoh gave up the roll anyway, and Omega picks it up. Recognition, one of the strong suits of Omega's game plan as a whole, as well as that mobility. Barely evading the Yoshi forward air and finds the punish. Footstool out of shield into the... He's so sick.
Wow. That movement is insane, honestly. And I think Omega is beginning to, well, has been all the way through, exploiting a real weakness of Yoshi, and that is the lack of burst option. Don't get me wrong, some people have described Yoshi as a living, breathing burst option with how fast his air mobility is. However, Yoshi doesn't really have a traditional burst option, something like Joker's dash attack, right? Because at the end of the day, oh my goodness, just so early in the grand scheme of things, I've got to say, I've got to cut off my own point just to talk about that. Omega having that perfect percent ready where it was just about to kill, and there's so much Arsene ready. Tech chase situation, the down smash not going to work. Nearly a perfect punish, but again, another directional air dodge. Staving Pharaoh's skin.
Pharaoh has been known to get antsy at these type of positions. He'll play such a good game, and then once he feels like his back is against the wall, he'll start throwing haymakers and throwing out different options just to try and force his way back into the game and force his way back into comfortability. And Omega blows you up for that. Fishing for back air forward smash, fishing for a down smash on a roll, trying just to will a read into existence rather than taking what Omega gave him, and Omega pieced that apart like it was nothing once he saw Pharaoh fall into that almost defeatist style of mindset.
And Omega making his way into top 24 winner side. Pharaoh again should not be disheartened.
No, not at all.
Solid performance, and of course the upset over Shattuck as well. He is playing extremely well today. It's just again you've got to keep